Right, we're here in the media centre at Phoenix Square for Skyride, and this is Jennifer Jones. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Had a really good day.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Now, tell us a little bit about your role around 2012, and then we'll kind of bring it right back to the reason why we're talking.
So I'm a minute. Phone's ringing. Sorry. I'm a PhD researcher at the University.
Just proves it's live, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, there we go.
I am just about to approach my second year doing my PhD about Olympic and Olympic media. So I'm interested in not only the traditional sort of television broadcast media around the Olympic Games. I'm interested in independent media and how communities can use tools like the internet and more recently social media to tell their own stories around mega events, so in this case the Olympic Games. So I've done some research in Vancouver, which was the Winter Olympic Games in February, where I participated in local media communities, looking at how they use the Olympic lens to try and amplify their message about their issues. It might be about local issues, it might be national issues, it might be international issues, and also thinking about legacies beyond the Games, which are not specifically about sport. They're about community, they're about telling that alternative message that you don't normally hear about when you sit down to watch, ice skating or skiing. So it was really interesting times, and as we come up to London 2012, we're kind of like not only researching but practically working on a network of independent media centres across the UK to try and get the London Games beyond the N25. So being able to tell a story as a national Games rather than just a London Games. So this is why I'm here. I'm helping John with some of the Leicester activities, and hopefully in October we'll be launching our Media 2012 network, which John and Citizens Eye hopefully be part of, and we'll look to help set up our own community network of media centres for the London Games. That's what I understand.
Brilliant. Now, obviously from our point of view, you're not only a critical friend because of the expertise and your knowledge and what you're doing as well, but also I asked you to actually be a critical friend today about how we were running the media centre here, because a lot of people think we're running the media centre here for Skyride, which is true, but it's also part of the very first building block, which we had last year. We had the Special Olympics, we've got Skyride this year, we're going to be doing the Leicester Marathon, lots of events next year, Skyride again, hopefully heading up for that big 3 months of Olympic and Paralympic activity around community media taking over like Phoenix Square.
Yeah.
I mean, be honest, what have you thought about today?
Do you know what? I thought you'd done a really fantastic job. I don't think despite telling them, I don't think that the building were quite prepared for what they were to undertake. But to give them their dues, I don't think anyone really prepared what was going to happen today. I mean, Skyride only started last year, so last year it was just a novelty in which you could cycle around town without cars. Now we've turned it into a media event of our own. It might not be interesting towards people outside of Leicester, but what it has done is bonded Leicester as a community. I mean, I've just been here watching and bumped into so many people I know that have just cycled past because I've mentioned it on Twitter, or cycled past because they were part of the Skyride anyway. So anything that sort of highlights positive, almost ethical messages about Leicester is can't be a bad thing. You can orchestrate it, or you can try and grow a community out of something, or you can just do it like what Citizens Eye be doing. Let's just try something. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we try something else, and I think it has worked. So it's exciting.
You'll probably understand more than most people that are involved. I think we've had about 35, 40 volunteers today on and off have come in, and obviously there's a novelty value of being involved in a media centre, Citizens Eye, our community news cafe and stuff. Yeah, and a fantastic T-shirt and
to see a film and
the lunch never doesn't spoil anybody, does it? So it never does any damage to have a free lunch. But
one of the fantastic things about it is feeling part of something. So the media for a long time has maybe been this elitist activity, which is only few get to be the voice of many, whereas in this case you can feel part of something, and there's no vetting here that's telling you you're not good enough to have a voice in those circumstances, and I think that's probably one of the positive things that can come from this.
Well, I'm quite keen on the only qualification you need to do anything with Citizens Eye is enthusiasm, so that's good.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a personal thing? I mean, you've seen me talking about, we managed to get about the East Midlands Special Olympics cyclists onto CNN on iReport and stuff, and a lot of people are excited about it, and obviously it's got great novelty value and stuff, but it's part of this kind of longer term thing where the Leicester Mercury know we are, so we'll take our stuff, because obviously the relationship with Citizens Eye being in partnership with them now. BBC Radio Leicester, East Midlands, ITV, all the usual sort of mainstream media suspects, if you like, are interested. But to actually then start reaching out to CNN and some of these places further afield, it's part of a building process that they are aware of what we're doing, and we're building content and stuff. So when we do 2012 and Paralympics and stuff like that, our content doesn't come out of the air. We've got a bit of a sort of a reputation, if you like, with it. Do you think that's something that's got a key for us to do?
Definitely. There's different ways of getting accreditation and what is considered accreditation for a mega event like the Olympics. I mean, you can work for the BBC, and the BBC pay for rights, so that's your route in. I mean, there's lots of routes in that way. But in this case, by being a proven track record, it only strengthens your case of getting better. I mean, you have to think about what the motivations are here. If nobody turned up, we'd still have a great time anyway. The fact that people have turned up and they've learned something about it, and there's this feeling that beyond the event has a sort of presence online, there's an archive of it happening, is something really we should take for granted. And I think come for London 2012, I think the bigger thing we should be looking at is not just the immediacy of capturing stories during the games, it's thinking about how do we want to remember those games, and it can really be as open as you want. You can bow down and have the story told for you on behalf of somebody else, or you can create your own archive in the same way you're watching films about the 1950s in Nottingham, which was one of the films that was on in the thing. We can have our same archive, and we look back on it, this is how we remembered it, and it might not make sense to a passerby and just clicking something on YouTube, but for us at least we can look back and go, well, that was something worth doing, and we've captured it, and it's ours, and it belongs to us. And I think that just returning to that sort of community vibe is really important in times when we might not have control over other parts of our identity.
We're on your favourite subject now, aren't we? Now last question, I promise. We're halfway between China, the Beijing Games, and obviously London 2012. I think it was 700 days yesterday to the Games. Can I ask you, social media was around 2 years ago when Beijing was on, but obviously, where it was held and without going into any details, obviously social media could only have a part to play. Do you think 2012 will be a real turning point for sort of social media when it comes to the world's largest, not only sporting, but media event as well? Because it's the first time, it's been around for a while, but it'll be the first time it's really tested, isn't it, to, around the Olympic ideals and people that agree or disagree with it.
One of the interesting things about Vancouver in February was it's called the Social Media Olympic Games by not only the sort of people on Twitter, the people that were doing it, like us researchers interested in that. The IOC, after the Games, the International Olympic Committee, called it the Twitter Olympics, the Social Media Olympics. So that was when social media was coming to play in a mega event. Now, 2 years on, it will have changed into something different. I mean, we all are using our mobile phones. We don't necessarily need a laptop, separate devices, but it might be less of just a social media Olympics, but more of a mobile Olympics. So in terms of media usage, we're not relying on too many bits of technology, we're relying on one good piece of technology, and I think that will really change the way we interact with things, not just consuming content, but making content and distributing content. And if we get faster internet access, faster 3G access, that's something which may come out of it. I don't know. But each game's its own signifier in terms of media changes and media transformations, and whatever happens, that will be what we remember of that games. Brilliant. So we just hope that they get their act together in terms of Wi-Fi and 3G, and things can be nice and fast, and we can get content up quicker than before, and that's something we can look for, or something we can protest for, or something we can just steal, but we'll get there eventually.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you very much for agreeing to talk to us, and we'll see you on the 4th of October in Manchester.
Yep, see you later.